Visit atwsource.com to take the next step along your path of awakening. You're listening to Awakening Truth, Worldwide Radio, and its network of radio shows. Presented by the teachers of Awakening Truth Worldwide, where spirituality, truth, and consciousness collide.
Welcome to A Guiding Light. I'm Dr. Joseph Marra, and I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes or so. Before I begin, I must apologize for last week's mishap. I received a last-minute call from a guest, and she just couldn't make it in because she was pretty ill, I guess. Anyway, I was going to continue with the show, but instead of filling her shoes with another guest, I thought it'd be fun to do a little Q&A. Unfortunately, I was out of town, and I tried to continue with the show. However, we had very poor internet where I was at, hence the sound disruption and the cancellation. So again, sorry for the cancellation. We're going to try to get Patricia Corey on the show in the near future. Okay, we can now get to the business at hand, so to speak. Today, I'll be joined by my special guest, Mas Sajady. Mas and I will be discussing his near-death experiences, his personal awakening process, and how it all led to his current healing modality. Later on in the show, Mas will be taking callers and doing personal healings. Tune in as we discuss the possibilities. Mas Sajady, welcome to A Guiding Light.
Thanks, Joseph. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad to have you on the show. I've many questions for you, but before I get into that, maybe you could tell our listeners about your personal journey and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just take maybe 5-10 minutes and just, I've had 2 near-death experiences, and from that I've just been given the ability to tap into the higher realms, Joseph, where I guess miracles can happen, whether it's, personal, physical, relationship, or spiritual, anything like that, anything that you want to shift in your life, I've been given the ability to help you shift. And how I got there, Joseph, initially was my first near-death experience in my 20s. It's kind of woke me up to the life of spirituality. So from there, basically what happened was that I had my jaws crushed in a rail car. We used to unload rail cars, for a college job. And in the rail cars, there was these moving walls. They're called bulkheads, and they weigh about maybe 500-700 pounds a piece. And this wall that kept going, they're on rails, so they moved back and forth inside the rail car. It was stuck, so I offered to climb up, and then my teammates were pulling from underneath, and when they were pulling, it all of a sudden gave way, and then I slid across these members, and then the only thing that stopped it, Joseph, was my jaw, really, and my jaw was just crushed between this wall and these ceiling members that went across were braces. And that first near-death experience was like when I first saw myself, I'm going, gosh, that is a really strange way to have your neck, and I didn't feel any pain or anything. And I'm going, and as I kept getting further and further away from my body, I didn't really notice that I was actually out of my body, and I'm going, wow, that must really, really hurt. But then it struck me, it's like, well, why isn't it hurting? And then I realized I wasn't in my body, and that's when it kind of hit me. It's like, oh my God, it's like, where am I,
Yeah.
But all those mental faculties, the thinking process was still with me, which was amazing. And as I turned around, I started to see my life, flash. It didn't really flash by, but you could almost see, every episode, every experience from, the beginning till that point in time, in real time. So it wasn't fast forward. It wasn't, it wasn't little snippets, things like that. You could just, sense almost every emotion. Everything was just so real. So I'm going, well, how can you live, 20-some years, in just a mere second or so, And then after that, this bright light hit me, and it's like, it's not your turn yet. It's not your time yet, and I got, pushed back into my body, and that pushing, although I was out of my body, that part like really, really hurt. Even at a spiritual sense, which is still amazes me, because at the spiritual realm you don't think you have pain or anything. But as I went into my body, that's when the real pain started. And the next thing I knew, I was in the hospital, with my jaws wired shut and all that. And but after that, everything started to taste better. Everything was brighter. Everything was so surreal. Everything was like perfect. Even things, that were kind of like negative for me, it seemed like I could handle it in a better situation or a better light, and things automatically came to me. So, this carried on, for another 20-some years until this next near-death experience. And we were in a cruise ship, and Joseph, you know how things, if they're meant to happen to you, they happen to you, no matter what you try to do. Well, that's what happened to me. It's like we were on this cruise ship. We wanted to go on this inner tubing trip with my kids and my wife, and it was all sold out. We were really bummed out, and we get out of the ship. We didn't know what to do. We were in Belize, and nothing else looked really exciting. But as soon as we walked out, it was like this angel or something that was there, this person. And it's like nobody really saw him. Everybody else just like walked by. But when we saw him, it's like, it was an inner tubing trip for 6 people. So it was like my wife and my 4 kids. So it was just for us. It was like for 6 people. They only had room for 6 people, and it was half price. So I'm going. We're all looking at each other. It's like, wow. How can that be? And that's what I'm saying is like, if it's supposed to happen to you, stuff happens to you. I mean, anyway, so we take it. It's like a trek, an hour into the jungle to get to the jungle, and then another hour by foot. And it was so amazingly beautiful. You got these huge leaves, just like you're walking through Jurassic Park without the dinosaurs, of course. But, it's just, everything was just so perfect. I'm going, wow. We get to the river. They're handing out life jackets. And, the river, first of all, I thought it was just a family fun type, inner tubing trip. It wasn't. The river was so fast. They actually had guide ropes, so you had to hold on so you didn't get washed away. And these were for adults, and I got my little kids in there. I'm like, holy, what have I gotten into? But, they hand out life jackets. And, again, step 2, I guess I should listen, is like, when they got to me, they ran out of life jackets. I'm going, But I figured, well, I'm a strong swimmer. I was in swim class. I was a swimmer in high school, so I figured I'm pretty good. So, but as a parental instinct, I made sure my kids' life jackets were tight, tied really tight, a double check, triple check, and we're getting on the inner tube. And as soon as we get on the inner tube, the guide goes, okay, you got to keep your feet interlocked, otherwise you might float away into these other rivers or pathways. And Belize is very porous, so it feeds a lot of underground rivers and waterfalls and caves. And they get fed, of course, by the above, the rivers above. In fact, they have more rivers and, underground caves underneath than they do above river, but, above on land. But as soon as we pulled away, though, somehow my feet got unlocked. And, like, within a minute, I was just going towards one of these big rocks that are, they jut out, and it's got like a man-sized hole which feeds the underground, rivers underneath. And I got sucked into one of those. I got literally sucked out of my inner tube, and I got pulled into that. And the water pressure was so strong. I was trying to crawl out, and I couldn't. My back was bloody. My fingernails were torn out. Just trying to get out, and I couldn't. So I finally just let go. And when I let go, and that's after I ran out of breath, obviously. I let go, and again, it's like I ascended into the higher realms. And this time, I didn't see any lights or anything like that, but it was just the most beautiful feeling you could ever have. If there's any joyous moments you've had here on Earth, you multiply that by, a couple million times, and that's the feeling you get, And, it's like, it's so perfect. You don't need anything. You're just so complete. It's amazing. Your kids are precious, your family's precious, and so on, and nothing of that really mattered. You didn't need any finances. Everything was just so perfect. Everything was there. It was just a beautiful feeling. There was no time or space distance, so it just seemed like it just lasted forever and ever. But you were in the present. There was no like past. There was no past memories, and there were no future memories. You were just like so in the present right there, and everything was just perfect. And then I flashed out of it, and the next thing I know, I was like 50 yards probably above river, where I got sucked into, in a quieter part, in a shallower part of the river. And I'm going, gosh, how the heaven, did I get here? It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it was obviously through divine intervention. But so we got back into the ship, and just getting back to the ship was another whole story, because we lost. We were late. We were like 2 hours late, and the ship had gone already and all that stuff. But anyway, we got it back into the ship, and it's dinner time now. And after we all settled down, because it was very traumatic. We thought I'd drowned basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to dinner, and the dinner, they have like maybe 300-400 people or more in these dining halls, for dinner time in a cruises. So we're walking into the dining hall, Joseph, and what happens is my eyes were really, really blurry. Not that I had cried too much or something in the water, it was underneath in the water that I had my eyes open too long, and I kept rubbing my eyes. But one thing I noticed, though, when I looked at inanimate objects, it was perfectly clear. But when I was looking at people, there was like this blurry haze around everybody. I'm going, what is that? I couldn't figure it out. We walk into the dining hall. As soon as those doors open, it's like, oh my God! It's like it was just like a scene out of like Bruce Almighty. It's like I could hear like everybody's issues. It's not just like here. I just had this knowing. I'd look at somebody, and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's got heart issues. This guy's got high blood pressure. This guy's arguing with his spouse and this and that and so on. It's like no matter who I looked at, I could just pick things up. Just like that. I'm going, wow. I'm telling my wife this. I'm going, honey, I can feel all these people. And she's going, it's okay, honey, you'll be okay, You've had a rough day, and I didn't think anything of it, She was just thinking it was my imagination or something. But anyway, we get back after the cruise, we get back home, and that's when things started really happening to me. I got drawn into meditation. I've always meditated off and on, but when I needed to meditate, it's like the time opened up for me. I had to meditate at that time. No matter how busy my schedule was, it just opened up. Clients would cancel on me, and then it was like time for meditation. And it's like I tried it. It's like, no, I got to finish this or that. It's like it was like this automatic robot type deal where I just like sat up or whatever and, did these stand-up meditations. And that's where I got downloaded with tons and tons of information. And, I signed contracts and so on. And, this kept going on for about 2-3 months, and it still does, but, it was very rapid successions, it was like almost every other type of meditation, every other day or something. I got downloaded with all this information, and, and the first time I started, like actually working on people was my wife. She used to get headaches all the time, these migraine headaches, that, even prescription medication didn't really help. And she was getting these. And I go, well, one day I just went, I go, well, honey, let me just work on you. And I'm going, it's like, well, where did that come from? And they're like, what does that mean? And again, automatically, I just like stood up. And, I put my hands around her. And I didn't even touch her head. I just put my hands around her head. And like, within a minute or two, her headache was like completely gone. She looked at me, and I looked at her. And I'm going, I was like, well, what happened? And I'm going, I have no idea. So, the next time it happened, we did it again. I did it again, and her headache was gone. You know, I'm going, wow, you know, what's going on? You know, and then I started working on my kids, and you know, and it became kind of like a family trick, because basically, it was like, especially with little kids, Joseph, you know, when I touched them close to like around their chest, you know, it's like they literally like fall over. If anybody's looked at my YouTube videos, you know, there's people like fall over or, you know, do strange motions, things like that. So it was kind of cool. It was like a party trick, you know, so I didn't know exactly what I had, you know, and so I started working on my, you know, my family, and then friends, and then friends and friends and friends of friends of friends, and, you know, then people, just strangers would call me up, like, you know, you worked on someone's back and they don't have that issue anymore. Can you work on, you know, my knee or whatever? I go, okay. And that's how it became a business. So, and that's what I've been doing ever since, I think like 2009, 2008. So, and it's been an amazing journey. And I'm still learning. I'm still a newbie at all this. So.
Yeah, you know what? One of the questions I have for you then, with what you just said, was what did you personally get out of all of this?
Well, this just amazing awakening, Joseph. You know, I've always wanted to, like, you know, help people at a higher level, not just like financially, or, you know, financial is good, or better relationships or whatever. You know, I always wanted to help people. And, you know, this is like you get down to the nitty-gritty of what people really want, because it's not really about, you know, the physical assets people have. Even like a happy, you know, somebody could have the most perfect wife or the most perfect husband, things like that, and still, you know, they don't feel right, or something wrong, whatever. But, you know, when you tap into that essence, that pure essence, Joseph, or you help people tap into that, you know, everything's okay no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I've personally gotten. And, you know, I wanted to open up a software. I mean, that's what I used to do for 20-some years. I had my own business as a software designer. Yeah, we did web development and all that. Huge company. You know, we had like 30-40% of the car market in the Minneapolis area. You know, all that went away, and this new form started. And nothing that I like even thought of doing, you know, like healing people the way I do. But you know, when your spirit starts guiding you, I mean, you come to the light, and it's just an amazing experience. And that's basically what I do now. I just help people come to that light or connect to that pureness, and then you get guided by whatever you're supposed to do.
So what does your family think of all this? Like, obviously there was a transition, right?
That's pretty funny, yeah. Well, I come from a family of doctors, Western-type medicine. Although, you know, I'm originally from Afghanistan, but my dad's a doctor, my sister's a cardiologist, my uncle's a doctor. And, you know, and the first time, you know, I said, well, I can help, or I can, like, I don't want to say diagnose, but I can tell what's wrong with that person. It's like, yeah, right, you know, you got to run these tests, you got to do this. You know, although my dad he's very connected. He can look at his patients and tell them what's wrong. So maybe it's that lineage. But anyway, it's like they didn't believe me. You know, they thought it was like a quack or something like that. And, you know, I'm going, okay. You know, but, you know, the more family members I've worked on, or the more family friends I've worked on, and they've seen the results, you know, they've been really open to it. In fact, my sister's a cardiologist. You know, I work on her, or she actually refers patients to me, you know, that goes, because she's not totally into Western medicine, you know, she thinks there's a good mix between Western medicine and, you know, regular medicine, alternative medicine. So the people that need more than just cardiologist type help, you know, she refers to me, and, you know, I help them out. So, yeah, so now they're really open to it, actually. My dad, every time I come see him, he goes, come on, you know, work on me. You know, work on my back, or, you know, work on this or that. And so it's just amazing.
Yeah. What do you have for, like, testimonies for the listeners who are out there that are skeptical right now?
Oh, there's a ton of them. There's every day I get, you know, a couple emails a day, and, you know, the most extreme. Well, you know, it's you have the extreme ones, like where tumors have gone away, or, you know, or tumors or some other issue. Like, for example, this woman, she couldn't eat like meat ever since she was a child. Okay, and she's like 45, 50. I worked on her a couple times, and now she can eat meat. Her digestive system is a lot better. Things like that. The most extreme was this lady. She hadn't talked to her son in about 20 years. Her son was a drug addict, and she actually came to me not even seeking help for her son. But what happened was, when I was working on her back, her son's spirit just like kept coming to me. I'm going, God, you've got a son, don't you? He's like 22 years old, and she goes, yeah. And I was like, is he like on drugs or alcohol or something like that? He goes, yeah, she's an alcoholic, and he hasn't talked to me for 20-some years. I haven't seen my grandkids or anything, and his wife doesn't talk to me. And I go, well, do you mind if I work on him? Yeah, because I can work on people through people. So, and she goes, and she started tearing right there. And she goes, no, I don't mind at all. So, the most of the session was basically working on him. And then within a week, Joseph, her son calls her just out of the blue, and he goes, Mom, I'm going into rehab.
Wow.
And, throughout, we worked on him like 3 more times to help him go through rehab. And he went through rehab a lot faster, almost like one of the fastest individuals that, transformed. And then she sent me another email, and it was the first time they had Christmas together in over 20 years. First time that she saw her grandkid, and she got along with with his wife and so on. So, people who like finances, I've helped individuals, with their businesses expand. Where 500-600 sales a month they get. So no matter what it is, if your spirit's like willing to change, Joseph, I'm like that change agent. There's people like me coming up, on this earth now because of this transition. That's like it's just that change agent that helps you get connected to that pure source. And once you're connected, these things just go for you. So
awesome.
That's just amazing. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you a couple more questions. We got a ton of people on the line right now that I'm sure are wanting to come on and ask you some questions and stuff. But before I do, I want to respect your time. So are you strict on like cutting this off at 8 o'clock, or do you have any extra time after that?
I'd like to do it like at 8 because I have to go pick up my daughter.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm just gonna ask you a couple.
Maybe like 10 minutes more.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm just gonna ask these couple questions just to help the listeners who are out there. Can you explain to the listeners? Because you mentioned, I think, doing this over the phone. How does distant healing work, in your opinion?
Oh, same way. Since there is no time or space distance, it's the closest thing that I've gotten basically that I've had wrap my head around this is basically like the theories on quantum physics. Where you can go or tap into different universes, and basically I can tap into another universe and pull that universe into your reality and then mesh it into your reality and make those changes for you. So with a remote healing session, there is no time and space. So what I do is I can grab your spirit and pull it right in front of me and work on you, like no matter where you are. So it works all the same. But some people, like that physical touch, just because we're human.
Right.
We just need that touch. But I work on people all over the world. I worked on cancer patients in China where they regressed. The stage 4 cancer, and it went into remission. So it doesn't matter where you are. I've never tried anybody on the moon or Mars or anything like that, though.
Okay. All right. Couple more questions here. People are just anxious to tap into your energy, I think, here. We got a full switchboard full here, so.
We can even do a meditation, like a 5 or 10 minute meditation, where a lot of people can feel the energy, Joseph.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. You know what? Let's do that before I open up the phone lines, and that way the callers that call in could actually give us a testimony, how they felt.
Awesome.
Okay,
that'd be perfect.
Okay, a couple more questions here, because I know the listeners are dying to know because of the times we're in, the 2012 thing and all that. Before I get into that part, though, are you touring the country right now? So for those who catch this later, and maybe you could give your information, your contact information.
Okay. Do you want me to give my contact information now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's www.massajady.com. It's so www.massajady.com. And you can go there. It's my website. And then I also have a promo package, basically, because I'm doing some other shows, and I can just offer it to your listeners as too to save. If you go to massajady.com/pure, PURE, and then you'll see quite a discount actually. Meditation CDs, all that good stuff for you as well. So if your listeners, are interested in that, feel free to do that as well. Okay.
Awesome. And so, are you touring the country? Did you say?
I do. I have people. I have people that kind of sponsor me. So, I'll be in Iowa next week. I'll be in Chicago the week after that, and I do get out in the LA area. But more and more people are sponsoring me. So, I'll be in Hawaii, hopefully by the end of the year, or in Vancouver area, end of the year as well. So yeah, I do travel. So
awesome.
I'm open to seminars, things like that.
Okay. All right. A couple more. Since you crossed over, have you become aware of other dimensions or other entities such as the astral realm, the angelic realm, or even the extraterrestrial realm?
Yes. Although, like I said, I'm a newbie, so I might describe it in different terminology. And then somebody who's been studying this for 20 years or so, they go, oh, that's the astral realm. But yeah, I do tap into people or individuals who just don't fit here on Earth, right?
Yeah.
They don't, and I go, well, you don't feel, I don't tell them they're aliens, obviously, at first.
Yeah.
I ask them questions, and then it's you might be a different frequency, because basically that's all we are, is frequency. So yeah, and there are people here, that are alien type or not of this world, and they don't feel at home, right? But what I do with them, is I kind of mix, the earthly frequencies with their knowledge, because they have a lot of knowledge, but they can't use it here because it's not open to them. So, you open up their knowledge and mix it in with, kind of give them, right, what is it, orientation? When you go to college, Joe, they give you orientation class.
Right.
A lot of those people missed orientation class, so they don't know, the cultures or the nuances of, the earthly beings type, and that's why they feel distorted here.
Right.
But once you integrate that frequency in there, they feel a lot more comfortable with themselves and other people. And then they start to open up their gifts that they're connected to, from different realms. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm just going to ask a few more questions here, because I know once I open up these phone lines, I'm not going to get to answer or ask these questions. So
don't worry.
Have you been exposed to the Akashic records?
Bits and pieces for people, yeah.
Okay. And in your opinion, can anybody be a healer or tap into these energies we're talking about tonight?
Anybody can. Anybody has the ability, okay? But the key is, are you going to be willing to do what it takes to go through, to get to those higher frequencies, basically?
Right.
So, because it's not just it was gifted to me. I was actually, through the life up to, my near-death experience, I was actually groomed.
Right.
So when I did have my near-death experience, it opened me up. Because a lot of people have near-death experiences, but they don't open up to what I've done, right? So you got to get to that point, and some people, it's if they're willing to go through what it takes, yes.
Well, it's funny you say that, because my own personal journey, whenever I was in contact with some beings other than this world here, the question was always asked, what are you willing to give up? So
exactly.
not everybody's willing to give up what they have right here in order to go on that spiritual path. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It kind of reminds me of this great pianist. This lady, she saw this great pianist. I forgot his name. It is a true story. And the guy was going through this restaurant, and the lady recognized him, and he goes, "God, I'd give anything to play like you." And the guy turned around and he goes, "No, you wouldn't." And he just walked away. And then later on, she met him again, and she goes, "That was really rude. Why would you say something like that?" It's like, well, would you practice, X amount of hours every day? Would you do this? And she goes, no. Would you do this? She goes, no. Would you do this? And she goes, well, no. It's like, well, then you wouldn't give anything to play like me then. It's the same kind of thing.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
What are you willing to give up? Exactly. You're exactly right.
Okay. Many people right now who are listening are probably wondering what you know about this 2012 phenomenon or what your thoughts are on that.
Oh, it's going to be a wonderful time, Joseph. It's going to be a great time for people who are really, connected to that open or that pureness or that core essence, I like to call it. Well, we have auric fields, right?
Right.
For us, example, we've got the 7 or so chakras,
mm-hmm.
right? Outside of those, there are more auric fields, and they keep going and expanding to the universal auric field, and that's where you feel the Earth's magnetism is shifting and all that stuff, all the geological type stuff going on, and then there's like the human type auric fields too, like financial stress and all that, and a lot of people are connected to that. So the key, guys, if you want to survive, in the upcoming years, is that if you get connected to that pureness or that core essence, you're going to be solid on your own, so you're not going to get affected by what's out there or what's happening out there. We're not going to be like those animals, that they sense a hurricane or, sense an earthquake, things like that, and they get all shaken up or anxious. They start, fighting each other and all that, or, moving uphill or whatever. We're not going to get tuned into that, although we're going to be aware of it. We're not going to get sucked into the devastation that might happen. I think there's going to be a lot of group deaths. I mean, it's happening already. A lot of strange deaths. Like people eating other people's faces. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but stuff like that happening.
Mm-hmm.
All those strange things are coming out. And again, people who choose to exit the world,
right,
they're going to do so at this time. And then that opens up the door, because this old method of doing business, having relationships, all that stuff, it's going to become more transparent. So, if you're in a good relationship, it's going to get better. If you're in a questionable relationship, it's going to get more questionable, because it's going to force yourself to be more honest with yourself. And that's, really the key is being honest. So that honesty, that transparency is coming out.
Right.
And so that's what's happening. It's going to be a bad year, I think, for finances. This year until 2013, I think that's when, you get another drop, like in the market and economics and so on. But so you can, stay ahead of the game there and invest properly and so on. So
yeah, cool.
And I help people do that as well. So
awesome. So in other words, you're saying become the observer rather than being in the thick of things.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's there. Most millionaires are made when there's time of economic stress. So do you want to be the 90% that are sucked under, or do you want to be in that 10% or so, that take advantage of what's going on, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So the old saying, being of the world but not in it.
Right. Exactly. So true.
Okay, so how about, I don't want to there's so many people that are on the call here, so what I would like to do, if you want, is to do the 5-minute meditation, allow people to tap into this energy, and then I'll open up the phone line.
Okay, that sounds perfect. If any, I do a lot of my meditations standing up, but, if you're driving or so, obviously that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Or if you're driving or, you don't want to do the meditation. But anyway, I can start right now, and we'll get just started. If you want to stand up or whatever position you're in right now, it's the best position for you. Okay, so we'll just get started, and we'll just start to expand ourselves, just by noticing just our forehead, really. Maybe that third eye, where most people say that third eye is, and some people could probably feel a tingliness there or some type of sensation. Whatever that is, that kind of that'll first start out your connection there. And as we get into that, focus on it so close where you can start to feel, your scalp perhaps, and, the back of your head, and down into your face, your eye sockets, your eye structure. You've probably never really paid attention to your eye socket, but, just amazing possibilities of what the eye can do, and that expansion of what the eye can do, because that expansion of what the eye can do is basically connected to that universal knowledge that's out there for us all. And as we pay attention to that, we start to expand ourselves and get connected better into that universal knowledge. And as you listen to my voice, you may calm down or get into a deeper state of relaxation, probably a much deeper state of relaxation than you've ever been all day today or maybe all month. Maybe you just want to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. As we go down to our neck, we can feel that elongation of the vertebrae in our neck, and any tension that might have been there. It's probably released by now. And if not released completely, it might be gone now or even a couple minutes from now. It doesn't matter. Either time is okay. And as we expand into our shoulders, more of that tension just releases, and you probably feel a heaviness on your shoulders. Just that sense of relaxation where your just muscles get so relaxed. As we go deeper and deeper, that sense of expansion, of that connection of that universal knowledge, that connection to that pure source, comes into memory again, and how, we're all created by that pure source. So we're all one and we're all connected. And as we delve into that realm, we can feel our vertebrae expanding now, from the top of our back, down our mid-back, and into our lower back. And I can work on the lower back because a lot of people have issues with the lower back. So just do a little mini group healing on that lower back. And while I'm working on you, because it's the spirit that actually works on you, I'm more of a guide. So it's your spirit that's working on you right now. And your spirit knows what to work on. You can breathe in and out and further get into that deeper, relaxed state right now. You can look on the back here. There we go. Let's go down our legs, our thighs, here our calves. And all that energy starts to flow down, all the tension, all the past blocks, whether mentally, physically, whether you know it or not, or whether it's in the subconscious or from other realms, or past lives, or that spiritual DNA, I'd like to call it. All that stuff just sinks all the way down into your feet and just right out the soles of your feet, right into the ground. Just gets recycled. Okay? And as we keep working, and as we keep focusing on all that stuff coming out of us, okay, you start to know, and you start to get a feeling of a lightness probably coming about us, or a better connection coming in with us. Just stay quiet for a minute here while I work on you. So it's just all connected to that pure essence right now. So whether you feel it now or later, doesn't much matter. Just know that your life will probably change. And unlike other meditations where you come out of the state, you really don't want to come out of the state because, well, first of all, I brought your spirit more into your body or wrapped around your body rather than ascending to connect to your body. So now your spirit is around you, surrounding you, for security. So you're more secure, more safe because you're guided by a higher spirit that knows what's coming up for you. Okay, so it keeps you safer, more secure. And then also, you want your spirit around you all the time. So we can just open our eyes if you haven't done so, or you can open them up now if you'd like, and just become aware of the time and space of where you are right now without leaving, that essence of your spirit around you. You can just be more in focus of what's happening to you right now. Okay? Here we go. So, hope everybody felt that and everybody's more relaxed, more connected. How are you feeling, Joseph?
That was good. That was great.
Good.
Felt really good.
Good.
All right, so you ready to take some callers?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's open up the phone lines then. The call-in number is 323-679-0927. If you have any questions or you have any personal ailments that you would like addressed, please call in to talk to Moss. And the first person we're going to bring on is area code 607. Welcome to A Guiding Light.
Thank you for having me. I feel extremely honored to be here.
Well, thank you for joining.
Yes.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm not exactly sure. I've just been feeling stuck and isolated and want to move, and I'm wondering, what the holdup is.
When I tap into you, it's like I see your family lineage, right behind you. It's like your parents are it's just that family type structure that's just holding you back. You have to let go of all that stuff, and I can help you let go of that. It's like your mom and dad and that whole family. Do you have brothers and sisters as well? That family mindset, it's just like stopping you. So I see there's spirit around you, guiding you. You know how a family structure is? You get into you're outside of your family, and then you get back in, you go for Thanksgiving or Christmas or something, and then you act totally different. Well, that's the way you are, all the time. You've been expected to act a certain way around your family, and you do that even outside of them. So, let's get rid of those mindsets for you. How are you feeling, by the way, now?
I feel better. I started out with crummies in my tummy, and they're gone since I did the meditation. Thank you.
Good. And also, I think you might want to, do you have high cholesterol or something, or do you take cholesterol medication, or?
No, I don't pay attention to that.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
Well, you might, I'm not a doctor or anything, but you might want to check that, okay?
Okay.
It might not be nothing serious, but I just kind of picked that up. Is it a family history of heart issues or something?
Perhaps. Not cholesterol. My brother has it.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, you just might want to check too, just to make sure. I mean, it's nothing serious. I mean, if there was like a heart attack next week or something, I'd tell you to go to the doctor and check it out for sure. But you just want to be sure where your levels are, so you can do something like holistic or otherwise. Okay.
Just cut down on the butter consumption.
Okay. Or cut down on the butter consumption. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of for you. So,
and I'd like to add something too, Moss.
Yeah.
A lot of us right now, because of the energies that are coming through right now, are feeling this stuck feeling. Mm-hmm. And it's like we don't know what direction to go. We want to go somewhere. We have the feeling we need to go somewhere, but we're looking for clarity of what direction that is. And I really think that after June 6th, after this Venus transit thing takes effect, these energies come through us and emanate, I really think that we're all going to have more clarity. That's my own personal intuition.
Good, because I'm really sensitive to these energies coming in.
Yep. And again, like I said, the pure connection you have to that source, that true essence, the better connection you're going to have like after this June 6th deal. Okay?
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to bring the next caller on, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, the next caller we're going to have is area code 575. Welcome to A Guiding Light. Is area code 575. Are you with us there, caller?
Yes.
Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
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 Do you have a question for Moss?
This is Victoria, and I just wanted to call in.
Okay. Do you have an ailment that you would like him to kind of tap into your energies to feel if he can sense anything?
Well, heart and hormonal.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you're calling from Victoria or your name is Victoria.
No, my name is Victoria.
Your name is Victoria? Okay.
I'm calling from New Mexico.
New Mexico, okay. So Victoria, I also see something with the way, you know how blood is made in your bones, the bone marrow and all that stuff? I see something like that. Do you have bone issues or something? Or?
I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Your parents, did they have bone issues? Are they like fragile? Or
my mom's, in her 80s, but she's, I don't think, I don't know. She's with me.
Okay. I'm just seeing something with that as well. But anyway, how are you feeling? I mean, I should have asked you before, but how are you feeling now, Victoria?
A little lightheaded. I mean, I did the meditation and I felt really good, but just very relaxed.
Okay. There you go. So we'll work on those two issues with you, but what would really help you get like more energy, a little more focus, Victoria, is some type of like blood enhancer or something. Whether it's like through foods or some supplements or something like that, because it seems just like your blood just feels like it's just lacking something, and this minute or two is not going to do it justice, but it just feels like it is. So, and again, that might affect your hormones.
Okay.
Okay. How are you doing now? Better? A lot better?
Yeah, I'm just like really, I feel like almost like a hot flash.
Yeah. Okay. So things are changing for you already as far as, the structure of the chemical makeup for you or your blood and all that stuff. But I do sense something with the blood, which is causing, your And a lot of people, they come to me for like specific issues, and then you get to the foundation of what's causing those issues. The core foundation, which is important. And once you resolve those, then the issues that you come in for are actually resolved for you. Okay.
Okay.
So just see how that feels, and there we go. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller. Okay, so we shall take another caller here. And, God, there's so many people on here. Hopefully I don't bring the same people on. All right, the next caller with area code 760. Welcome to A Guiding Light.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Today I'm having a bad headache, sick to my stomach. And my head feels odd. It feels like it wants to open up, but it's real congested. I'm having a hard time even describing it.
Is it more on your right side of your head, seems like?
I do get the right side, and that comes out of my ear type of a headache.
Yeah, it's like when I see you, I just see like the right side of your head like heavier, so it's like you're tilted over either to the right side more. So how are you feeling now? And then I'll work on you for like a minute, and then we'll see. Like on a scale of like 1 to 10.
Oh, I feel pretty bad.
Or what was it before?
I started feeling better just listening to you talk before you did the meditation.
Okay. And that happens too a lot. It's just tapping into that frequency, A lot of people feel better just listening to my voice or taking a look at, my picture or something like that. And I'm not sure what exactly that's about, but a lot of people have reported that. So I'll just work on you while we talk and see how you're feeling. And
okay.
So you have like a slight scoliosis, like in the mid-back? Yeah?
I do, yes.
Yeah. So I can work on that. I can do like adjust you, remotely. Obviously, I'm not physically adjusting you. I adjust you at a frequency level because it's the frequencies that create, scoliosis or heart issues or whatever. So when you change things at a core level, your main programming level, and then it's a lot easier whether, you come back to me to continue working on you, or, you go to your regular chiropractor where they work on you. But whatever the scenario, it's a lot easier for you to get adjusted because the frequency level or your frequency that you're emanating is actually being adjusted. So how are you feeling? How's your neck? How's your upper back? Different? The same?
It's eased up a little bit. It's really bothering me, like in my solar plexus is killing me in my head. And it's been coming on all week. I was real clumsy. My balance was real off. I ran into a pole. I was real accident prone.
I see. It's almost like this nerve is getting squished on. You can't tell. It'd be like your left side. Your nerves are kind of getting squeezed. So let's see if this works. And then sometimes, when I adjust people, it's just like a chiropractor does. It might actually hurt worse because, the muscles are pulling in differently and so on. So let's see if this works. And the nice thing about when I adjust you like a chiropractor, you don't have to come see me, like forever or years and years. Usually most people feel, shift after the first session. And then most people come see me like maybe 3 to 6 times really. And their issues are pretty much resolved. How are you doing there?
My head feels better. My stomach's still bothering me.
Yeah. And a lot of times people who have scoliosis is actually there's another frequency, whether you call it you're a frequency, and you create a certain frequency. But then when there's another frequency, whether you call it like somebody hanging on to you or whatever, another spirit being or entity, around you, that's what actually causes that scoliosis. It's almost like, if somebody was like sitting close to you, you kind of curve around them to accommodate them. Well, that's what basically a lot of people with scoliosis. They've got this other frequency with them, and then your back kind of. And let's just get rid of that as well. Something to do. Wow. Is it your father's mother? Would be like your grandmother or something? Did they have issues or something? Or?
I never met my father. Or knew his family.
Okay.
I was, my biological father anyway.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay. So, well, that creates a frequency or a self-image that kind of paints, or sets the way you look at the world. So maybe that's, no matter, even if you didn't need them, it still creates a push on you. So let's just get rid of that frequency.
Okay.
So you start to vibrate in your own frequency, okay?
Okay.
How's that solar plex area? Feeling a lot better? Different?
That feels better, yeah. Yeah, that feels better.
Good. And that'll keep expanding for you, okay?
Okay.
Because I removed that frequency for you of your, like, something happened with your father and his mom, so.
Okay.
So, anyway, you remove those frequencies from you, and then you start to vibrate at your own default frequency, which is gonna actually rapidly shift you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Okay, Moss, I'm going to bring one more on, and maybe two, depending on the time. It's like 3 minutes till 8. And again, I want to respect your time, so you tell me when you have to go.
Okay. Again, I'd love to stay on, but I got to pick up my daughter.
I understand. That's okay. Let me hurry up.
Family thing.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay. The next caller I'm bringing on will be area code 760. Welcome to A Guiding Light. 760, are you with us? Okay. Well, I guess we'll bring on the next one, which is area code 718.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. I guess we should go quickly. I have an issue around my teeth, jaw, which is actually related to the whole body. And I do some energy work, and there's been a kind of interesting long-term pattern since I began doing energy work of it swirling around this issue and trying to move it, but continually seeming to come up against the block around the teeth, and I do believe it has something to do with expression, past, father, and especially like right now I also have my period, so I'm having a lot of pain of tension, muscle.
That's what I was asking you. And especially on your left side, your left ovary more, seems like.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't focusing on that, but there's a lot of blockage. It feels as if that it's hard.
That's where you house all the.
I mean, I
said you do
tend to focus.
Work, right?
I'm sorry.
You said you do energy work.
Yeah,
right?
I was interested. Occasionally.
Right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I pick up on you, it's like that's where you store all the other people's crap. Sorry, junk. Can I say that word on?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, please, that's fine.
But anyway, that's where you store, which is kind of cool, where you can just like you're like a trash compactor, where you can compact
it's weird.
energies and like store it right there. So shall we get rid of that? Okay.
Yes, that would be great.
And then I think the teeth issues and it's kind of like it goes up that meridian, like your left side, up your like teeth and that area, you know. So like almost like
I always
your
feel
left.
it on the right.
Oh, right. Okay.
But it's swirling around. It feels like it keeps circling around and rearranging the muscles, but there's like a block that it can't.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know. That's what I experience it as.
It's just that like quarter quadrant, whether it's the left or right. Sometimes I get them mixed up, but you know, that kind of like bothers me.
Yeah, I always feel like right now they're in my right, like where the teeth meet or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it feels like everything keeps like on the right side of my neck. It feels like it keeps tracking around that and like pushing more and more and blocking more and more, and that right shoulder
but
too.
But it's your left ovary, right?
I don't know. That I haven't really paid attention to.
Because I just see your left. Well, there you go. Well, how are you feeling anyway?
I did feel something shift there.
Good.
Okay.
You know, in talking about energy work, while I'm working on you, like for your physical issues, you know, you're also getting connected to that pureness, which will help you open up your healing abilities, no matter what modality you're in, Reiki or whatever it is, you know, that's out there. So no matter what you're doing, your healing will get a lot better, a lot more intuitive, and you don't have to absorb other people's energies to heal them.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah. Because I can, like, when I do expos, things like that, I can work on over, like, 150 people, and you know, in a matter of, like, maybe from 9 to 6. And I'm just as fresh as, you know, the morning. And that's because it's not my energy that I'm using. You know, it's that core pure essence.
Yeah.
So.
I think this may have more to do with family things. I don't know. I think I felt my energy, I mean, with everything going on in the universe right now, but I felt a lot of things, like I felt a lot of opening up and actually a lot of love energy coming in, but I think there's, like, I felt a drop afterwards, and some things higher self is telling me all for the good. You know, there's been some, like, little explosions and things going on. It's good that
you care for people too much.
From a higher level, what I'm picking up here is with a lot of us right now, with the energies that are coming through the universe, we're releasing some of the cellular memories that we have, whether it be from this life or other lifetimes, and we've already done work up to this point, so it's not like we have to work on it. It's just that we have to release it to allow for more love quotient to come in. And then if you focus your intent or attention towards that as things are coming up, and then allow the love vibration to come in and fill the spot of where the fear or the doubt or the lower vibration was, it's going to lift you. And so your higher self is right on, in my opinion.
Yep, exactly. So just clearing away all that stuff for you is going to help you open up.
Thank you.
So it's even going to happen faster.
Yeah,
feeling better?
I could go back to that. Yeah, I can feel it. It's still a little, I don't know, I'm really getting something, I don't know if this is anything, but it feels like the thing I have the most trouble releasing is something, I feel it's like a little outside the body, or that it's related to what I'm feeling in the body, but it's something in the aura around, like, off to the right of my head. Does this jive at all? Something like just keeps hanging out there, and I don't totally know what it's about. I know that there's a lot of father issue and father like opinion of what's right for me, and not feeling safe or something with like my going into this other vibration. I don't know. That's the simplest way I could say it, but this goes way back, I think. And then I know on some level it's also my own reaction to that, you know, my own feeling, my own internalization of that.
So, well, this feeling will again keep expanding for you. So, if it feels right, just, you know, let me know or drop me an email. See how you're feeling. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Moss. It's 8:04. Can you take one more, or do you want to end it there?
I can take one more.
Okay. So the next caller will be from area code 718. Welcome to A Guiding Light. Are you with us, area code 718? Okay, we're going to the next one. Area code 320. Welcome to A Guiding Light. Are you with us?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Mas. So nice to
Hi, how are
talk with you. I'm doing
you,
pretty well.
Good.
I'm calling from Minnesota. I'm not too far from you.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And I'm dealing with the whole clarity thing also. One, a relationship, and two, continuing my work and my purpose and passion here.
Uh-huh. So, is it with your, husband or close?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it just seems like you married somebody like your father type. Does that kind of resonate with you? Or like an expectation? He has like an expectations that he puts on you? Are you going to be moving out of Minnesota? Or
No.
No? Oh, okay.
Are you telling me I am?
Yeah, that might be a future event, but it's like I give it like two or 3 years. Sometimes, like I said, I'm kind of new at all this stuff. Although I've been doing it for a while. Sometimes, future events kind of pop in, and it seems like, yeah. And sometimes I can't tell if it's like a future event or like current type. But this feels more like a future type event. You seem to like move out west. I'm not exactly sure, but out of Minnesota somewhere, like within the next 2 years. So, and I can tell you more about your relationship, but it's more like seems like it's like too personal to say on the radio for you. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I will call.
Okay. How are you feeling, by the way? Different, the same?
I feel really good and relaxed, lighter.
Good. So know whatever's going to happen to that relationship, that's kind of like it's like a starting point. So, a lot of times, a lot of people who have like bad relationships or they keep attracting negative relationships, over and over and over again. It's just like this thing on repeat. When you start to change the frequencies of what you're emanating out, you change it to something different, something where like people who you attract are more wholesome for you, more beneficial, then you start attracting different types of people as well. Or, the people that are around you might like fade away, if they're not involved with you anymore, or, they actually get closer to you and they actually shift because of that, because your frequency has changed. They shift because you don't need them to be a certain way. So they become their real selves as well. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Okay, Moss, it is 8:08. I'm sure you got to go pick up your daughter, right?
Yes, definitely. I'm so sorry, guys. I'd love to do a couple more. But if you'd like to, can I say my contact information?
Absolutely. That's what I was just going to tell you to do.
Oh, all right. We're connected, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, anybody to get a hold of me, it's www.massajady.com, MASSAJADY.com. If you want to peruse that offer, if it resonates with you, it's massajady.com/pure. And there's a couple items in there that might be of interest. If it resonates with you, by all means take advantage of it. If not, that's okay too. God bless everybody. And Joseph, thanks so much for having me on the air with you. And I'd like to talk to you again sometime.
Awesome. I'd love to have you back. And again, thank you for being so gracious to my listeners. And is there anything you'd like to leave our listeners with before you go?
There's going to be a lot of exciting times coming up for us, Joseph. The ones who, like I said, are connected, stay connected through meditation and just, going to that pure state and just asking how to be connected to that pure essence. That's really all you have to do, with or without me. And then that'll help you go through this, the changing times, because it's going to be awesome, a lot easier for you and just much more exciting method as well. All right.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, and we'll have you back in the near future if you like.
Okay, I'd love to. Thank you, guys. You take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. So, for those who are still on the line, if you want to stay on the line, I'll bring you on if you like. And if you have any questions or you want to discuss anything, we do have some time left on this call. But before I do that, I just have a little announcement. If you want to look for an exciting new event, a live roundtable discussion on the Andromedan perspective. And this is with Mark Kimmel, myself, and Tolik, with Lisa Harrison moderating. We will discuss Andromedan views of the changing times we are all living in, and how we truly have the power to create our reality, and how we can choose to manifest positive changes in our lives on the way to becoming a higher dimensional people in a higher dimensional world. This is a live show, and you might want to tune into this. As far as next week, Sunday, June 10th, Lorraine Cohen and I will discuss her method of assisting others in their own personal transformation. We'll also discuss how an individual can overcome fear and other self-sabotaging behaviors such as procrastination. So tune in as we discuss the possibilities. But as I stated, I think we still got some callers left. And what I'm probably going to do here is open up the phone lines. And let me just check to be sure. We have a couple people still on the line. If there's anybody out there that's still listening that wants to give a testimony of how they felt if they experienced the meditation that Mas did, I'm going to bring you on. And the first person I want to bring on here is area code 760. And we had another 760 on here, but welcome to Guiding Light.
Hi, are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to
Hi.
you.
I wondered when you were looking for that second 760 number, if that was also me. Did you have another one from another
I did have another one, actually. In fact, I think she was the one of the first ones that I had. It might have been the very first.
Okay.
So you have somebody in your location that's real. It's also
yeah. And I didn't give you my name either. It's Rebecca. And I did talk to Mas on your call today. And so I was sitting here. I think I feel about, I know at least 50% better, if not more than that. I was pretty sick with this headache, stomach ache thing. Felt kind of like a migraine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I started feeling better before he even did the meditation, more so in my stomach. I'm real nauseated with it. So then after he worked on me, then I felt better. It's not gone. I can still feel it, but it'll be interesting to see. He said that it actually continues to work, so that'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, another thing you might want to do is increase your water intake to allow your body to take that in to help flush this out. And some of the things that happen when you go through these healings, which, you know, sometimes healers forget to tell you, is some stuff is going to arise, and you might not be expecting it, but just allow the process to take effect and know that it's for your greater good, for you to face it and then release it. And that's how a lot of healings, whether it be mind, body, spirit, or emotional, happen.
Mhm. I'm curious what you know about this this Venus transit that's coming up. I haven't read anything on the internet yet. What do you know about it?
Oh, basically, there are certain times throughout this particular year in 2012 that have very high energies, and this is one of them. Another one was in May, but each one kind of catapults us as a humanity, as Mother Earth, and as basically our galaxy and universe. As these energies raise in frequency, we need to work on ourselves and raise with the planet. Otherwise, it can be pretty tough. And that's basically what he was saying in another way, is that try to tap into your higher self and these higher spiritual realms and work on yourself to get rid of some of the cellular memories that are causing the dis-ease in your body so that you can kind of go with the flow. Because it could be, in other words, like a lower vibratory frequency can't hang with these higher vibrations. So if you don't work on yourself and try to match it, then it can be pretty tough to go through.
Okay. I see that in general with, friends and family. It looks like people are struggling to try, to get through things these days.
Well, here's the thing. People that want to hang on to the old are going to go through the struggles. And that's, we're in a time of change and transition right now. And those of us who have woken up just see things from a different perspective. And it's not, I'm not saying we're better than anybody else. We just see it differently. And to try to convince somebody, that might not be their soul's journey this time. And they may have come into this life to exit sooner than the rest of us. So you just have to know that each individual person has their own soul path, and they may have chose to come in and maybe be a part of the group that checks out, so to speak. And that's what Moss was talking about. But don't look at it as in fear. Become the observer and just respect their free will, because you wouldn't want anybody to impose their free will on you or vice versa, right?
Right.
And it's hard because you have your family that you love and you want to bring with you. And that was one of my hardest lessons, was that, each individual soul, no matter their age or what they're doing or how they're related to you, it's their soul journey, not yours. So you just have to let them be.
And yet, I hear what you're saying, and I actually have somebody that I think that is trying to get it, and that that's where her struggle is coming from. There's people that are feeling like they're in a vice, and they want to get it, but they don't know how to get it. So they're uncomfortable, you know what I mean, that kind of a stage.
Right. And this is where we have to use our discernment, because my family members, some of them are actually opening up quite nicely right now. And it's really cool to see the progression, because even a year ago, they won't even want to hear anything I had to say, and they thought that I was crazy and all this other stuff. But now things are manifesting that are proving and will vindicate to the people that have been talking about these higher energies and transformation and 2012 and ascension and all that. It's really, it's going to be, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak, and it's just going to manifest. And those who want to go into the new change and are like water, is the best way I can put it. Go with the flow. But those who are resistant and those who focus, another variable is your thought. Thought becomes reality. So if you focus on negative things, that's what you're going to attract to yourself. And as these higher energies come in, it magnifies your thought. Because quite frankly, we are made in the image of God, and we're all co-creators. So when you align yourself with a negative vibration or negative vibrational thought, that's what you attract back to yourself. It's called law of attraction. So why not position yourself on a positive thought process, or a positive timeline, some people call it.
Right.
Right?
Right. I hear what you're saying.
We got a few more callers, and thank you for hanging on the line for us.
I enjoyed the call very much. Thank you. And this is the first time I've discovered your website, so I want to go back in there and make sure that I can listen to some of your other calls.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So our next caller is from area code 718. And
hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. I want to say thank you so much. I just happened upon you, and I'm so grateful and so enjoying the show.
Oh, well, thank you.
And it's just such a pleasure just everything you're talking about is very much, I've been experiencing all of this, and I'm just so grateful to have this opportunity to connect with others, and I think that's a lot of what we're going through right now, too, and I would say that, especially the past couple of weeks, but, it's really, what you're saying is really jiving, and it's very interesting to reflect on what you're saying about, I've been really getting sort of this message about working on self, and of course we are much bigger than this self that we're in, and we're waking up to that. But it seems like with this transition, that is a very important piece of the puzzle, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it's just lovely to have the help of others on their path, and what you were saying about your family and seeing the transition. I'm seeing some of that too, and also what you were saying to the other caller, applies as well in terms of. I do think it's. I guess I would just put this out there in terms of the interesting thing is. I feel like what it feels like in our third dimensional plane to these bodies we are in sometimes as we go through this process of transition or transforming is, when we begin to open to these other frequencies, there can be a period of kind of, bouncing up. If it feels like that, I don't know if that's really what it is, or kind of aligning with these new frequencies, and then occasionally that will also maybe bring up anything that is still there to be cleansed away. And sometimes, the more work you've done on it, it can happen quite quickly, and then some things might happen less quickly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm experiencing it. It will seem like, sometimes I'm wondering if other people are going through this at different stages as well. What you were saying is, sometimes the experience feels like, I felt earlier this week almost, even though I've been through things before at different times, in terms of kind of opening to other planes and being able to hold that frequency in my old patterns, I guess you would say, or my old, what feels like an old life or something. Just this week I was really feeling this shift of, felt like a nonverbal or less intellectual energy that was really sort of around my heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of, and I realized that my mind could get discombobulated with it, or wasn't for a while. It was sort of coming in and out. But this sense of picking up on the frequency of things rather than the, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a different way of experiencing the world.
No, you're exactly right on, because what's happening right now also is we need to look at this new transition with our spirit, in our heart, rather than our head, because we try to make everything logical, and you can't make this logical. Everything that we've been taught throughout our lives basically, this goes back to what you were initially saying, is the separation. And now we're reconnecting. And that's what this love vibration is all about. We're transmuting the fear base or the negative vibration out of physicalness and allowing for the love vibration to come in. And as we do that, we don't even have to say anything to anybody. You can just walk your path, so to speak, and just by your vibration being high, a person that you walk next to, their vibration raises. So it's like a domino effect that goes across this globe, and it also helps Mother Earth in her transition as well, because we're all connected. And if you look at it from an energetic point of view, rather than the physicalness, because basically we're both, then, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense logically to say, well, we're all connected in a physical sense. If you look at it in the eyes of energy, though, these are certain things some people can see, but most of us, at least in the third dimension, couldn't. But these are gifts, or if you want to call them that, telepathy and all the other things are really going to come online for all of us here in the coming months.
Yeah. So interesting, so nice. For me, this is, I would say, I just feel such gratitude. I think for me, I'm a very expressive person, and it's interesting. That's, I think, where a lot of things are coming up around that, in terms of maybe at times the need to feel freer about it, I know for me it's around, my perception of the acceptance around my family. I'm realizing that. And interestingly, when I look, I see that it actually is changing. And the wisdom is exactly what you're saying. Like, you don't need to talk about it. And so I've had the experience of just when you're holding that vibration, that is it, and it's enough, Interestingly, I don't know if this may be helpful to anyone who's listening in case they're going through the same thing. I mean, it's interesting that along with that have also come, and I kind of had part of me was telling, maybe my higher self was telling me this, like, okay, you may get this as well. Interestingly, I've had this, it feels like a lot is bouncing around, or that, this, I feel like I walk through one fear and it's like I go to the love place and then it's back to like some fears coming up again. And it does actually feel almost cellular at a certain level. I don't know if that's, and, my wisest self sort of knows what this is all about. But it's interesting, and it's in the personal life, it's interesting, like I've had a couple things with, especially like I've been going through a lot with my sister, and I see actually, interestingly, that it's really quite beautiful in its way when I really look at it, that it's, that she has a lot of fear and a lot of issues around fear, and so there's been, I think, a lot of love coming in. But interestingly, too, there was just an incident recently where there was just this, and she was not in her, I would say she was on, we discovered later that she had taken something, 2 drugs that interacted or something, but we went out and I didn't know what was going on, and all this anger came at me, kind of all this irrational anger, even around some of, like healing, the fact that I do healing work and things like this, and I usually don't talk about that, and it opened up more around that. So I guess in a way I'm trying to, like, already, that was just a night ago, but already I'm feeling forgiveness and understanding where that came from. I also know that there was some physical, like, in the moment, I it was hard to hold my center.
Right.
I don't know. And so it's interesting just processing that and kind of knowing that maybe that's some kind of testing, or I don't know if it's also just kind of a vibrational thing too, of like a little bit of dissonance every now and then. Does that? I wonder if that makes sense. Like if you're bouncing up and it's like it's not even conscious, but people are a little bit maybe uncomfortable with it or something. I don't know. What I don't know if you have any.
Well, without opposition, there's no growth. So we do live in this dualistic world for that particular experience. So if we were all in grace or bliss, then what would be the point of you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There has to be an opposition.
Yeah, so that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
Otherwise, if we would be in heaven, there's, it's a blissful place and it's great, but that's why we come here, and we've chosen to be here. And not to mention that we live multiple lives and we're multidimensional beings. So when you're bumping around, so to speak, you're probably going from either lifetime to lifetime, releasing these cellular memories that you've had from past lives in this lifetime to transmute them so that you can raise in your vibration so you can go through this ascension process. And that's basically what it is, a process.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting. So I guess what I'm learning is that maybe being compassionate to the times that you feel bumped, like that I feel like I don't know, like a little lessening. It's interesting. It's like I feel this opening and then it's like going back or something. It's like bouncing back but to like a denser energy. I don't know if that makes sense. And also seeing how much my own thoughts are related to this and my own reactions, and how much I'm able each time, on some level, if I really see it, it's like, okay, maybe I attracted that too, and so it was, because it's very scary to me on a certain level. So it's like, well, you're, but if it happens, then there it is, then it's done.
Well, and again, it's all about growth. So you just mentioned scared, which is fear, and you mentioned about compassion. So one of the things that we forget to do is have compassion for ourselves. A lot of times we're having compassion for other people, or sometimes we forget that also, but we always forget about us. We're always putting other people first. But until you can work on yourself and become the example, many times, it's actually better to work on yourself, and by virtue of doing that, you become a steward of the light and a light bearer or a torch carrier, so to speak. And then you become the example.
I so agree, and it's so nice to have that reiterated, and I think that's sometimes it's, interestingly, it's the simplest thing in a way, once we really do it, but sometimes it is the hardest thing for us to actually
I think we all struggle with it.
Ourselves, like to really treat ourselves almost like a child, and to mother ourselves and be nurturing towards those parts of ourselves that we have, unconsciously on some level. Like there's something there's some thought form usually there,
right?
That something is left over, and that's what we have the most trouble with. But that's actually, I just think that's such a beautiful thought, because that really is, it feels like for some reason that is especially right now, that this is really our job. And, the intellectual mind tends to, even, if we think we're healers and, which is all fine too, but, healing ourselves right now is going to help everything else. So thank you for that. Just so, it's so good too. I think we're all helping each other as well to do
Absolutely.
this, so.
There's always an equal exchange.
So thank you. I feel so grateful. And,
thank you for calling in. I'm sure you touched many lives, including my own. As I said, there's always an equal exchange, and I'm sure everybody's going to take something away from our discussion tonight. And Moss, he was great tonight. I'm glad. Hopefully, I think he'll want to come back. He had a really good experience. So
he was lovely.
Yeah. He has good energies, and everybody that participated, it seemed like they had a good experience. So hopefully those who are still hanging on the line out there, maybe look him up, and you can find his information on my website. And again, thank you, caller.
Thank you, and you might want to give your website out one more time, just for those of us who didn't hear it the first time.
Well, thank you. It's aguidinglight, LITE.com.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
All right, good night. So let's see. I have 27 minutes left on the clock here, but let's see. I'm going to check and see if there's any other callers that's going to call in here. And if we don't have anybody, we're going to call it a night. So let me just check. And I refreshed here, so I'm going to play a quick commercial here that's like about 25 seconds. And if there's anybody who has any further questions or wants to discuss anything they experienced tonight, or just have any comments, simply call in. And the call-in number is 323-679-0927.
Have you been baffled by the ever-quickening changes all around you? Are you confused about which direction to turn? Do you question, where is this all leading? I'm Dr. Joseph Marra. All of these questions and more will be answered on my new radio talk show, A Guiding Light, every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tune in as we discuss the possibilities.
Okay. Looks like we're going to call it a night. And just as a reminder, we have the Andromedan views, that we have a round table. Actually, it's the Andromedan perspective, but we're going to be talking about the views of the changing times of the Andromedans and their perspective on that. And this will be with Mark Kimmel, myself, and Folick, and Lisa Harrison will be moderating. And as far as next week's show, Sunday, June 10th, we have Lorraine Cohen, and Lorraine and I will be discussing her method of assisting others in their own personal transformation. We will also be discussing how an individual can overcome fear and other self-sabotaging behaviors such as procrastination. So tune in as we discuss the possibilities. Until next time, I'm Dr. Joseph Marra, signing off for Guiding Light.